NPP no aban no dada Ghana for say oh man say biaboa ye de to fan wo e na akoso nti na manabasa international market price na akoso but abusuafo ene ye chirema magana fo nyina ate ase say enye international market price
driver ni bia o Ghana driver fo yiri bia o Ghana driver fo mba bia o Ghana se mo pe yen mo papa nom ene yen mo kunu nom ye dia obia ansori waka no to abanoma je.
If the NDC were in power today, are these the proposals you would have implemented?
If the NDC was in power today, the price stabilization and recovery levy would have been used whether in cash or in strategic oil assets to cushion Ghanaians, to subsidize the price.
Abana oba ye na ne nkrofo ma bokro no e wose yedi omo asema watwam no. Abana oba ye na maame na ofa amaslok fo sika de koye party wo US de chele ye na ye janu no. Aban papa aba. Ma hu fuel no.
Say fuel ma tu be 10 times as ye ntum da. Ade. Say enya adwuma ma fuel na say enya dey.
Papa John the man Mahama papa ya pa me se wadama NDC me pese obebu ye nimu ase.
Ye nyina Mahama de o ye me o ya ye sabe tu atia o.
You see, I sometimes wonder why I thought that Ghana phobia feeling surprised about this particular government. And I don't know why every video be a best ya kofa near the abaya reference ya be kwa video no that's Sami Jemfi ni din wom na nanim wom Sami Jemfi and someone ko we kai efa fuel price just say almost every sector this guy was there. And they a boba na wo compare reference ya wo boy ya na Sami Jemfi pie minie ajimu jeni. Now let's talk about fuel prices. This time around, you can never divert our attention. If Papa Bako and bro, you do say, Nana, you see, dear question, no, yeah, fuel prices, ya pay more. Papa, may research, measure shum. In fact, I'm not paying fuel prices. Mostly, I could do saying. Some matter say John Dramani Mahama Ghana man penny direct say or monty 2 cities in free patro. That's Adriano 19 cities 20 cities. Now what 2 cities free swap and wabain and what the eye of mine. And wabain and what the eye of mine mobile monteswa man kayaki kako 7 cities 5 cities. I feel a day and a buy and they dozy tamakula bidding como but before memo dozy tamakulu the MP National Petroleum Authority CEO dozy tamakulu abedin komo say Israel Iran ni US ntokwa kakra bi no knockout no eno na cause that but woboa eno but ye bedi hon komo nye no kwa no enu sa video no me de be mo ene ya me de be mo later part Ghana for driver for mate for no kasa but before that no Sami Jemfi edidid nkomo bi then time o mo position me boss you know I'm going to play that video for you. We are or more drivers association in penny for then time one na do danko for the tiakunya so komo bi o mo so di ne sma we are I think mebo Ghana for NDC for especially NDC to be precise for the NDC say omo driver for omo on patrol omo endorse John Dramani Mahama no patrol and they are complaining mebo sa video nso mo now watch Sami Jemfi any GPRT use GPR why omo mpeni fo no komo mu di then time listen
na basa mpempi no aban no dada Ghana for say oh man say biaboa ye de to fan wo e na akoso nti na manabasa international market price na akoso but abusuafo ene ye chirema magana fo nyina ate ase se enye international market price per se ena ma fa wo bo ehuri akoso sa nemu eye nyema minu baako eye eto aban we asesa agu petrol ni diesel bo so ena de toso mienu eye ye sika Ghana cedi na ene atete apansamo ama dollar na te praga kwa ko do 6 series 20 pesos no eno ka ho exchange rates because petrol na ye togu ye ka mu yusu ni Ghana na ye kokra it is a dollar kosra petrol bo be kosro sa so na petrol ni ye kokra ba aban de togu so it is a to le kosra petrol bo be kosro it ye ma obi anada wo say yamansan dwabo na ama petrol bo akoso to na ene dollar na akoso akodu cc revenue for.
If the NDC were in power today, are these the proposals you would have implemented?
If the NDC was in power today, the price stabilization and recovery levy would have been used whether in cash or in strategic oil assets to cushion Ghanaians, to subsidize the price.
Would you have scrapped the kind of taxes you have?
No, number one, I'm telling you the things we would have done. So we would have used the price stabilization and recovery levy for its intended purpose, number one. Number two, the special petroleum tax would have been scrapped because it has outlived its purpose. The sunset clause would have kicked in. It would have been untenable for us to still charge Ghanaian special petroleum tax now that the international export price of oil has risen to $80 and over. Again, if John Mahama was president of Ghana, I can put my head on the chopping block that he wouldn't have imposed a baller tax on the price build-up of diesel and petrol in this post-COVID era. Look at what Kenya is doing. Look at what African countries are doing for their people.
Fair,
they are providing their people
nuisance
relief.
Enti ena yen adawafo kuo concerned drivers association yen ena ye kasama adawafo nyina no ye say the drivers for change no saa so na you true support ye true ye nyina ye true ye support e dey ama JM driver ni bia o Ghana driver for yiri bia o Ghana driver for mba bia o Ghana se mo pe yen mo papa nom ene yen mo kununum ye dia obia ansori waka not to abanoma JM because yen ga endorse JM from eneko ye be hu eba be si wo amano 24/7
edamase makasa pa me kasa. You see, before and after GPLT painful. Omo catch the Ghana for say we are driving here when we are in kasa adawroma won ne won man kasa won we busu afon kasa na yen kwato aban fantia NPP aban ene monne this is ko 20 cities mpacho nti mo be fa mo isia no mo hunu se na nadu dan kokufo na no so won fa na mo ade say US ne Israel knockout kitwe wetimi dia pagem Otu bona boba no bono ban na edi oban nso boba no nso edi but still boba no ebe pia be chiri nti ebe hwutrim ene yenkotie GPLT from a boss for no wo that same people and come a won mu di chesan komo no na tie driver for no so wo nso kokobo wo nso de bo John Dramani Mahama tie demonstration mo nso plan so mbeko ye ba mema edozi temakulo nso de tie
bia Monday ko mo beto first mo by 30%.
eno de enye nwanwa se hunu Monday a enye nwanwa
ye hunu Monday enye nwanwa
because we have been announcing it since Tuesday and ye shas here say my buying up to the last working day Friday yente asembia asat now mene wo ka say yente asembia en free baby aye
the media houses ne bloggers no asia ye din no emwanwa o mahu sesi ase petrol enenam 15.99 diesel enam 19.20 some of the fuel stations so enam 18 point something near the so like but the media houses obia ye din as at the time my president Nanado all free abamu mukai say me posti ye say TikTok should remind me in 4 years time. It's just 2 years. But as at the time I free abamu na diesel and in I'm 14 point something mukai so munkai a won kan kire me kwa ko fasa me video no aba betu another video so amomahu and never be a din electricity tariffs ayekese first near to electricity 5,000 10,000 see to electricity almost 15,000 a month like ensure the same water tariffs and also kosoro but obia ankasa obia ye di nyoma boa ye di wo market o nyoma boa ye di wo market o chain said na na do wo na etie no nso obia ye di aden
aban papa ba ndisi aban papa ba aban na oba ye na ne nkrofo o mabokro no e wose yedi omu asem a watwam no abana oba ye na maame na ofa maslok fo sika de koye party wo US de chele ye na ye janu no aba papa aba mahu fuel no dollar ne sede etia ne tie sede na dollar ne tie ati kokoo so na enko nanim sede na dollar ne tie bibia titi su hwihwihwihwi enko hye na papa no de dollar ne ba fom so ana ne nkrofo ne general secretary adwa se tam so obi obeka so wonko term na adwen wo fom no enti that itself should tell you so ono ankasa kra ne general secretary nyini ni so obeko term na wa ba gene dia ye wa wo jejereje ba petrol ne wo soro no tro for taxi drivers for kunkum ajame me constituency de kunkum ne de private German South o se yenie German North yenie mo bia me dede
friend de mu ne mo
wadauma won say me a video and NDC pan bi from say reason anya Mahama by na sa mudede na mo yere se bia ye na ama ne me koso aya detail from point for and I say omo na mo to omo say chairman for na to abayi omo ne anya ban bia na eyi
and say
woni say me ba me tell dem chairman na NPP te so de ya to fu mu kwen na ma to lolu fu mu sa and I this amamu ya ban aba so mo ba ya and say chairman wo ya NDC ni kura say wo twin mu say ade na wo ye chairman na wo ye and now police for ko agbo moto check and
10 cedi
say so mo je say
10 cedi
time fresh na mo je say
5 cedi say so ma 10 cedi and so and
global ko 5 cedi
adai
and now kwani pobre 20
4 cedi 5 cedi lolu fe to obi be fuka no ama 25 to osano kun
mo kwatra officer na mo kwa mo hu na mo dre mo nyine Ghana do be
5 star cry say 5 star say so mo di 6 cedi 7 cedi
dia na go so
aba obetena ka mo ano pese o kire do pe o ma 25 no ka wo be shechire
masa
abrava for dem mu na mo bo
la me so da kan ye mi se ba ko wa ele fu ba ba
ele fu we bebre
do ba ni mi se ba ko ni ba do ku
o cheka ne se ku a u ni pa o
do ba ni ti kan o so mo kwatra officer mo ti ka ru afọ ba mo ni Ghana do be se
o sa wo ka
bra do ba ni bia hu hia hu
abranti aya
mo pese ye demonstration okrom a ye be demonstration ma ga bi be pa okrom a mo ni Ghana do be se wati ya sabi ye so hu hia
airport turn about when you ka chiro mo ya airport turn about ne ya adwuma wa asa se fu o matu be 10 times asa ye ntum da adai se ye nya adwuma ma fu ara asa ye dai
papa John de Mahama papa ya pa me se wadama NDC me pese ogbegu ye nim ase
ye nyina ye Mahama de o ya ye sabe tu atia o
wadama papa
we de peja ho na
yes ro Kenya homa ya wati youth ni ya bre adwuma ni o mani ya driving work we adwuma police for begu kwa ho se yi
ajiskane sa
on beti wati wa minim se de kan no so awi kwa ni anima se de kan ne fani pa ne kokukura ye nim and I heard my Ghana police and o sa to bali ase be mo twam na ya asem more than say cocaine ye de nam
obi a de passengers nam ye nyina drivers phone
police ni no pon okoja no park na afaka okofu o do ba ni koja no park na phone pa ko fra na obechew
se so mama ya hu se etika mu kura na ase kro no ne ebo e police ni otimi tetayai otimi teta police ni otimi teta oyonko achi trotro ni gina wa no wa wura be gina ka na ni no ache 1 million 1.5 kuma se ya
and no catch them say no this government ya woba no woni bibi papa bi a wode ba woni na wo aban ni hwe ya beka say it is something new so Ghanaians should watch out for him no woni hwe no they say the policies ya what says what they policies in patro aton you must I'm talking to you now. What is the 24-hour economy and there according to 24-hour market? Me refi na me phone nto kwan wate ma me fu edwedi phone wonim de ede ko edwedi phone ai enna edwam ha phone no yesere mo ya to asase ya ntam ede akoto baabi enti mo moving ko ne mfa ha nye 24-hour market ma me phone say hwe ehene ha and the 24-hour economy no market no ko and the kosisiwo ye wi a esika obedie bia ebetua enne ma me phone no mo enya asam ketwa ma me phone no mo enya asam ketwa enti ankasa NDC policy ben no maka so mbom be ya patron promises papa be no mo promise Ghana for o mo buy o mo fulfill that promises and the dollar ya teso and na ko dollar 11.69 pesos e wuri ko 12 cedis yɛbɛte so then time na do dan go for Russia Ukraine war kora no na dollar pagya mu kora so wo papa no na wonye na ɛna mpato de na esi ampato dollar da so gina bebi gina wo ba me ka sey atofu amu ba world market price what to say Hong Kong money to say madawroma you aban na omuto abama no ɛdeɛ no wɔkan ya wɔba ya waye rather than entro otantro trem otantro e de trem sami gemfi say ono na ban John Drama ni Mahama ne woso a saa nnema we yina enkoso betelei sami gemfi ye pe wo voice quality ye nya the people omunya omunya edozi tamakulu akasa. Listen to him.
But you see, I usually say this, that a conversation on petroleum pricing, we need to have a more holistic view about the issues. Why do I say so? These levies and taxes that he's raised have been on petroleum products for a while now. In fact, until February 28th this year, okay, some of the OMCs were selling a liter of petroleum products at 10 cedis. Correct. They were selling at 10 cedis, even with the UPPF margin on it, even with sanitation and pollution levy on it, even with the 1 cedi levy on it. But that notwithstanding, petrol and diesel sold within the range of 10 Ghana cedis. I think that, and I have a great deal of respect for Paul. I mean, he's one of the known researchers within the petroleum downstream. I felt that a fairer assessment of the issues would have incorporated an existing dynamic in the industry, which dynamic has changed a few things. What is this dynamic that I'm talking about? With respect, before the U.S. war on Iran, and Paul, because he's a researcher, he will bear me out. A liter, no, let me even put it this way. A metric ton of diesel, plus or minus, went for almost $794 per metric ton. Could you please, are you writing?
I'm writing. I'm listening.
$794 per metric ton. 794. Now, guess what? After the conflict, and today, as we speak, that same metric ton of diesel is now selling for $1,340 from 794 to $1,340. Because that's almost 100% jump in the price. That is where the challenge is.
It would have been better to give us the units in barrels, because a lot of our reporting on the foreign, the global crude price has been in barrels. If you did that,
crude is measured in barrels. Hello.
Yes, I'm listening, Chief. Go ahead.
I'm saying that crude is measured in barrels, but refined products, you measure it in metric tons. So, a metric ton of petroleum product, particularly diesel, prior to the 28th February bombing of Iran, it was going for $794 for a metric ton. Today, as we speak, my brother Paul will bear me out that same quantity is now selling at 1,340. Now, this is where it becomes interesting. For pricing of petroleum products, you look at essentially three major items. The FOB price, that is how much you buy it on the international scene. Then you also look at the forex impact. Because you are buying it from outside, you can't buy it with your Ghana cedi. You have to buy it with foreign currency. So the exchange rate becomes an important indicator. The next had to do with the margins, the taxes and others. You would notice that the tax component, the margin component, has stayed constant. Thankfully, the current managers of the economy have significantly kept the exchange rate relatively stable for the purposes of planning. So that N2 appears to be under control. Now, where the challenge is the FOB. Now, you have a situation where the FOB prices now moves from 794 to 1,300. That, for me, with respect, I may be wrong, is where the challenge, the bigger challenge is. Now, I've heard the point being made about my brother Paul about the fact of, there is a need for a holistic assessment of the tax regime and everything that needs to be done. Even with all those taxes and others, petroleum prices, look, as recent as June, when the ceasefire was announced, do you know that prices fell from almost $1,200 per metric ton to $890? And that is why you saw barely about a month ago, prices of petroleum products fell back to the pre-war era.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that the U.S. resumed the bombing.
Now,
and that immediately moved it from almost $890 to now $1,340 per
Mr. Tamaklo, if I may. So you've given us the FOB prices of refined products, but let's have a general reflection. Crude oil prices have not increased by 100% over the period. I'm coming. I just want to build up to something. Crude oil prices have not increased by 100%. The highest it went when the US started bombing Iran and Iran started firing back was around $110 per barrel. As we speak, as at this morning, if I'm wrong, you correct me, it's around $87 per barrel. Now, over that period, it's not gone beyond the $110 per barrel. So crude oil, let's say, is increased by about 50%. Now, if finished products prices have increased by about 100%, this becomes a challenge for the country. How are we solving that particular problem?
Let me offer some a brief of, because you see, I listen to you. Let me just offer some kind of clarification with respect. So you see, like you rightly pointed out, price of crude had fallen again. It had fallen because President Trump just announced 2 days ago that his plan to further bomb Iran is stopped because the Gulf states have informed him that Iran, and you see, if you look at the Strait of Hormuz, there's one part closer to Iran, there's one part closer to Oman.
Yes, and now they are figuring out how to chart the waters for commodity to move.
So President Trump has just announced that Oman and Iran at the point of concluding an agreement that will decide the future of the Strait of Hormuz, and that the Gulf regions have reached out to him. And for that matter, he has paused the bombing and had asked that that agreement is concluded immediately for the hostilities. Immediately that announcement was made, crude price immediately fell. But you see, when it comes to Ghana, in determining the pricing floor and those dynamics, what we do is to take averages of the preceding 14 days. And so, if you quote today's crude prices, it will not reflect a decision that was taken 14 days prior. Because usually what happens is that the averages of the products are taken. The prices are taken, the FOB prices are taken, and then an average is strike. It is that average that is used in terms of the pricing determination. And so if you mention crude prices today, the dynamics will be different too.
Mr. Tamaklo.
For the people who bring or move refined products, they have what they call premium. Because I will tell you something. Do you know that prior to the war, the insurance premium, more like the premium paid on products, okay?
It's increased. The insurance premium has increased significantly now. Yeah, I can hear you.
Was $20. You know the premium now?
How much is it now?
$5. But you see, I usually...
Edo is say, young for suborn on Mohai. Fuel price now, because some miss me who's a John Money Mahama directors or Montes 2 cities. And but 2 cities in a coin. Only a ruffle, Sanamote. 2 cities. At the end of the Kako 19 cities or 20 cities, there is 2 cities, still 7 cities. There's a 17 cities. What are you talking? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? But and I'm one case among friend this for no, they are complaining about Muntimin count. A shom, a bomb, ya dear. One case they are not, Omunya, a jump, but to better your mouth buying, so they should keep quiet. They have to keep quiet. The whole people of Ghana have been fooled. Oh, you buy a big way. Oh, and then you buy no otherwise. And the Ghana 4% into your hui. Now, me bow, a branch about good in Kumobio say, come here, say NDC bloggers, and those NPP bloggers into no. So, more 2 petro more. You who better more test what a pa. But so more 2 more. Just our bloggers no baby catch Ghana for so more 2 more. A maro shall call more. A queen, our boy, your friend saying, rough more than them more. They are not talking about this. Omo keep quiet like omo ye deep put and omo shawan kukwana and a dear hun yao. Yamina Amarasha called me feeling the pa, but I mean, with this one the home come. And the bloggers, then these bloggers in that come 1 or 2. Yeah, make that say this particular government 1 year, 1 year new government do abanya one oba be po miawa na wo de bibia be bom wo de bibi bom wi a moyi na madwena kɔ hɔ na wo de afɔ motum na wo de wura hɔ me say ye hwɛ World Cup ye hwɛ ya TV ho ye hwɛ World Cup Ghana be bobo obi ani age ye to jerseys ye ne ba ye ho so no na electricity tariffs apagya hwɛ oh, yeah, Camila, yeah, Betty Camila, whom come on, your own person like a Betty Camila, or saying Camila, a Betty whom come on, oh, near miracles. Had a be a what dream before so, a miracles and a jelly a buy 1 year. Oh, ye jai oh, Sadina Tamaklo, ye jai mamano, at Tienu, ye jano, oh, pa, fuan up pijano. To be attention, be food so now we do bonnie. This is the government we are under. Oh, so this time more Charlie, you be can some more now. This time you do matimo, but you be Kenyansa. Yen din kuma ba resio but ye be Kenya say one kasa mo no munsem ene ye pesa me demfi so wo mra bonten me kasa sami demfi aye quiet baby sami demfi aye kode say one kasa mpo ye ntene nimpo but this sami demfi so be catch us sami demfi be say anko be you will never believe that ka won jindi o ene sami demfi kana no atom almost every video wa ye negative then time to NPP then time no almost every video na sami demfi and they pe video they are referencing. Oh boy, I know we something from Nipa Bako. And they Bobano Bawosu. Near Bawosu, but then they ye pessamid visit a pesset to some medium finuma sub client. Oh, for I no cry one mampun wine interview. Pesamidian fee no masam kra e dia ye video a catch Ghana for oh samidian fee zia de waba be kasa oh nya nimpo o person wo tese wa ye busy but then time ono samidian fee e granting ono kra timi ba e be ye interview and then e dia na esi Ghanaians are not talking. Ghanaians have kept quiet. Few obo na akoso. We send this for na so muntum be that they are not omunga so. Omo kude no moti omo baby. And what is obi kasa gidigidi a NPP ni. This is a government we are living under. We nation as no. Well, hi Smart Africa Media. Yango comment section e konkodi enkom wada woro mo so subscribe like na fi san share mafofra wonum. O we chichi ene benche ye. Medi e de odeman ko ba na kofi fuma sante gudi makro.